I've always enjoyed how the snow makes the world less noisy, less distracting. And I'm not talking about how it covers the land, hiding and hinting of what's underneath. That being said, I like that too, but I'm talking about how still it actually gets. It's a muted world, which I find extremely satisfying. It makes it easier to think, to create, and to rest. No wonder how bears hibernate so peacefully during the winter. And my name is after all 𝐷𝐵jørn. Bjørn meaning bear, in other words, an odd bear. We don't get much snow where I live on the west coast of Norway, but each year in December we visit the mountain village Vingelen where my wife Kjersti grew up, and each year I steal as many moments I can out with the camera. Some days are best spent outside, and this is certainly one of them. Welcome to episode 2 of my Winter in Norway series. I hope you enjoy it. It's the second day of Christmas, and as you can see, I'm still up here in rural Norway, winter wonderland. And I had a little outing yesterday, you can see that video here. And when I got back from that little hike, I just couldn't stop thinking about how extremely beautiful it is up here and how rarely I'm able to visit these kind of locations. So I just thought I'll have a breakfast and I'll go out and grab a few hours before the next family dinner. So I'm out it again. I've driven up on these old mountain roads, so it's more open, it's more barren. And I figured that these kind of places are perfect for those tree images I talked about yesterday. So I've been just walked maybe 100 meters from my car, and already I've photographed 3 images of trees. No, and already I've photographed 3 images of trees, beautiful frost, snow-covered trees up here. And right now I just finished photographing that lone tree in the middle of the field, and the light. Oh, the light is breaking, so I'm gonna grab one more here while doing this. Just put off the cover here. You always have to be ready. And I was kind of waiting for this light. So I'm quickly gonna set up. I'm gonna turn off here. Just a second. Sorry about that. Pictures before the vlog. The light suddenly broke through, you can see it right here. And I just had to grab an image of the same scene. Anywho, this scene all around me now, if you can see here, the light has changed drastically all around me. So I think I'm gonna redo a couple of the images I did this morning, now that the light has changed. And after that I'm gonna drive a bit further in and we'll see what we can find. We're just gonna use this day to explore the trees and explore this landscape, and quite frankly, I can't wait. I'm sinking down in the snow. So I found a ski trail which I walked down, and of course I hadn't walked very far before I stumbled to this. And yeah, I mean, come on, what are you gonna do? This is incredible. So I set up for a panorama here, and I tried to take a panorama of this scene right here. I'm not sure how it will work, but I'll give it a go. Trying to get the height of the trees and the whole scene. I'm not sure how it works. I did one panorama, and I also did one where I used the image stitching to make a 96 megapixel. I'm not sure which I'm gonna choose, if I'm gonna choose the panorama, if that works, or the image stitched one. All right, I think down here I can see the sky is clearing a bit. So I'll just follow the ski trail just for a bit, and then I'm gonna turn into the fields and photograph some more trees. Hopefully we get a break in the clouds, and that will give us some much needed light, because this is very old black and white at the moment. But still oh so beautiful. If we're really lucky, we might get to see a moose or a reindeer or some kind of land-based animal. That would be fantastic. But I'm happy as is. This is incredible. Really glad I took another trip. We got the break in the clouds which I was talking about, and in a minute I'm gonna continue down this path here, and I'm gonna see if I can find a composition which can make use of the break in the clouds which is happening right now. But really quickly, before I head down there, I want to talk a bit about this composition I found right up here. And as you can see, there's this creek here which kind of has melted a bit, and up there these beautiful trees. And as always, when I'm out photographing trees and in winter conditions where there's a lot of snow, I always like to make good use of negative space in my images, and if possible try to include some foreground interest. And in this particular image, this creek is the foreground interest, and I put the focus on that, and I've excluded that beautiful tree there. See that little tree there? Very beautiful. I've excluded that because it doesn't add to the composition, it makes it more cluttered. So instead I'm cutting the composition right by the tree, and I'm using negative space, the snow on the left side, and negative space, snow on the right side. And then I use the creek to lead up towards those trees right behind there in front of the camera. I'll show you the composition now. And that, for me, I think makes the photograph much cleaner, much more calm to look at. And this day, these conditions when everything is just frozen shut, it's all about capturing the calm of the land. But here it comes. I was waiting for this, you see. The cloud is going to break through and illuminate this scene. That was why I didn't want to go right away. I was waiting for the sun to break through so I can capture this scene one more time when it has sunlight on it, to see if it makes any difference. Alright, I'm gonna photograph this some more. I got it. And now I'm gonna rush down here and grab a quick image of the scene right here. Ooh, rushing was maybe a strong word to use because I'm sinking in the snow. So I'm just gonna put the camera here and then I'm gonna photograph this scene. So I'm gonna hang up for now, hang up the phone. All right, talk to you in a bit. I love this composition, and I'm really glad I stuck by that creek to get the light before I moved over here. I took the chance that I would make both images, and I did. And right now I'm waiting to see if there will be more break in the clouds, because there are kind of signs that there might be, you know, they when the sun breaks through and I can never remember what it's called, but the Lion King light, where the rays kind of break through the clouds. I'm waiting to see if that will happen. As for my composition, my main subject are these trees in the foreground there, and I'm keeping some space, negative space, on this side, and I'm cutting the composition off right before the fence starts over there. And I feel that gives it breathing room, as I talked about in that composition. It gives it the calm of the land. And to deal with the bright light in the sky and the kind of dim shadow snowy light on the bottom, I bracket. I use kind of a bit of an extreme bracket. So I'm underexposing, and then I'm overexposing, and then I expose for the middle. And afterwards I'll blend them together, so I don't burn out the highlights, and I keep the details in the shadows. And I figured when I get back I will probably crop this to a 2x1, because there's a lot of negative space at the bottom and then at the top, and I don't need that, so I kind of want to make a panorama of it without taking a panorama. And since I'm planning to do that, I'm using a non-destructive crop in the camera. So you can see that here. I have that hot buttoned behind there, so I can kind of change my layout based on what kind of image I want. So I'm thinking a 2x1. I'm putting the focus on this tree right here. And then it's just a matter of waiting to see if the light breaks through. And it has already broken through just for a bit. And I can see now it's starting to break again, so I'm going to get ready for another photograph in a wee minute, I think. As for settings, I'm at f11, and the shutter varies from what I'm exposing for. Also, I'm at the lowest possible ISO I can get, which is ISO 50. And yeah, that's about it. Let's just see what happens with the light now. was supposed to photograph that tree right there. This one. Against the sun up there. So I crawled through the snow, and when I got here, the composition wouldn't work. I couldn't get the tree separated from the other trees against the light. So it didn't work the way I had planned it in my head. And then I turned around to head back to the trail through the snow, and then I discovered this scene right here. So I discovered something completely different than I thought when I headed out here. And that's just sometimes how it is, I think. You see something on your way there, and then you turn around and you head back and you see something from a different angle, and suddenly something makes sense from that perspective. So I put up here, and all this pristine snow in the foreground. There's nothing, and I put the line of the forest almost in the middle of the frame, almost at the middle, but just below the middle, because I want the scale of the sky behind it and the clouds, which are now kind of catching this beautiful setting sun ray, is now reflected on the clouds there. So I think I'm gonna take one picture now, still at f11, and I've decided that the correct exposure is 1/20th of a second for this image right now in these light conditions. 2-second shutter delay. There we go. So now I'm gonna grab something to eat from my backpack, and I'm gonna wait to see if the sun yet again shines through and adds some more light to this scene. That being said, I'm really pleased on how it looks right now, so I won't be too disappointed if that doesn't happen. Alright, you aim for something, then you get something else. That's the nature of the game. Moose. So we saw some moose on this hike. It does look like the sun has disappeared for now, and judging by the bank there, I don't think it will reappear anytime soon. So I guess this was my final image, and a good one at that. I really like this scene. It has grown on me as I've stood here and watched it now for a couple of minutes, waiting for the sun. Since the sun has decided to vanish, I think it's high time that I do it as well and head back to _𝐷𝐻𝐷 and the rest of the family. Maybe grab a quick shower before we have dinner together. But once again, this has been a blast, and I really hope that I manage one more trip out with the camera before we head back to 𝐂𝐚𝐬 and wind and rain. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Ha det fint, alle sammen. Og fortsatt kos dere godt i januar og nyt vintermånedene.
Just like saying, honey, I'm not gonna bring the umbrella, it's not gonna rain. Stating like I did, that you've taken your last photograph of the day, is kind of a curse. But it's the best kind of curse. And it's happened to me more than once, and this day was no exception. As I was heading back, things started shifting, and once again the sun revealed itself, just at the right time as I was moving further and further down into the valley and back to the mountain village Vingelen. A perfect ending to a perfect day outside with the camera. The following days up in Vingelen were all cloudy and grey, and even though I ventured out now and again photographing, I didn't capture any video behind the scenes worth sharing. I was really happy with what I had got so far, and I thought it would just be more of the same of what I've already shown from up here. However, 2 days after we had traveled from Vingelen, a cold spell emerged, and with it came a strange and beautiful cloud phenomenon known as iridescent clouds. Everyone was texting me phone images saying, "Oh, you should have been here," and I replied every time, "Ooh, I should have been there." I have only seen small iridescent clouds before, but these ones were huge as the northern lights, lighting up the landscape. Iridescent clouds are a diffraction phenomenon caused by small water droplets or ice crystals up in high altitude clouds. These small crystals high up are scattering the light, creating these beautiful rainbow clouds. The phenomenon lasted for days, almost weeks, and it even made the national news. And I should have been there. Sometimes, however, nature throws you a bone. And as I was driving towards a Lady Moscow gig on the east coast of Norway a couple of weeks after, iridescent clouds started forming yet again. And this time, I was there, with the camera. Iridescent clouds combined with the sunset is a powerful thing. It's been a while since I've been nervous while photographing something. Nervous that I wouldn't be able to capture it like I wished for. But this day, I felt that feeling once again. And finding focus on these clouds is not an easy task, diffuse as they are. I ended up focusing on the most faraway mountain chain I could find and just point the camera up afterwards. And luckily it worked like a charm. And all that remained afterwards was just to play around with compositions. I hope you liked the images, and thank you again for watching. Take care.